Sir, you can continue the session, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Thank you. Hi guys, good evening. Let's get started for today's session. Let me share my screen. Alright, okay. Here, so yesterday we saw some basics of what is a React hooks and some basic React hooks like what is use state and use reducer and use effect. And hope you guys have tried this task using your React hooks. And some I also asked someone, some at least 2 to 3 people to demo, and we will see it at the end. Okay. So today what we'll do is we'll concentrate on the topics today. So the topics for today is we'll be going over what is a React router. Okay, so that is the topic for today. So what is a React router basically? So instead of having what is a router, so you'll go with what is a React router? We'll go with what first? What is first routers? Okay, so routers are nothing but so if I go to any site, so I'll go here. So if I go to this particular website, so Guvi's website, so if I click on courses, I could see the courses listed here. Okay, so same way, if I click on any other page like Code Kata, something like this, it is going to a particular URL. Okay, so based on the routing or based on the URL that you mentioned, okay, your content gets changed. So if it is courses, it is courses. If you want to go to the home page, just without any URL. Same way if you want to go to practice, okay, so Code Kata. So based on the URL and based on the route, okay, you are going to show a different content to your website. Okay, so in your website basically. So that is the purpose of your routers. Okay. So before starting with routers, okay, so we need to know first we need to install certain packages. So we need to make sure that we need to have a package called React Router DOM. Okay, so we'll see it in action now. So okay, I'll take that particular URL alone from a different batch here. So here it is. I'll share you that URL as well. Okay, so if I go here, so this is the site that is going to handle your React routers. Okay, so we'll come to the home page. So React routers, as I mentioned, so it is going to handle only your React.js part alone. Okay, so routing is nothing but based on the URL, we need to display certain content. Okay, so we cannot display every data in one particular URL, right? So instead of that, so if you click on if I click on GitHub here, so it is a different URL, and based on the URL, it will be giving a different content. Okay. Same way, here it is something called a React router. So we are going to make use of this particular package. So it comes, it's not like only for web. So it is going to act for native as well. So for now here, we will be seeing the web part. So we are developing React application, right? So we have this particular library. Okay. So what is the library? So we need to use something called React Router DOM. Okay, so using this library, we will be making sure that the routing concepts are done properly. Okay, so let's see. First, what I'll do is I will install this library. So in your case, you need to use npm install React Router DOM. Okay, so let me install them. So what I'll do is I have created a brand new project here. Okay, so no content inside it. So we have some index.js. In your index.js, I have something called app.js. In my app.js, I just written hello Gooby. Okay, so no other content, a brand new project. Okay, so if I go here, I have the thing running here. Okay, so only one particular component here. So let me go ahead and install my React router now. Okay, so my package is installed. We are ready now to implement React router concepts. Okay, so I'll just zoom in and here as well. So we have these topics. So React routers and other things. Okay, so there is something called browser router. Okay, so we are going to make use of this particular library in order to start our application. So we need to have this particular component from your React router DOM package and make use of them in our application. Okay, so that's what we are going to achieve now. Okay, so let's see. So the first part here is in index.js we have app component. So app component is our root component here, right? So what I'll do is I will have my browser router and every contents here. Okay, so import. So React router DOM. Okay, so if you go inside it, we have something called browser router. Okay, so it's a component, see, class. So it's basically a React class component. Okay, so here something called a class component. Okay, so now we need to implement our routing concept here, right? So basically, in your app component, what you need to do is, okay, for now I will do what I'll do is here in the case of H1. Okay, so your browser router should be the root component. Okay, so something like this. So it should be the root component in your application. Okay, so that's how your browser router works. So browser router is nothing but, so it is a component that has been given by your React router DOM to have our router concepts inside our application. For example, if I click on like /students or whatever the URL, based on the URL, we need to display certain content, right? So those feature is given by your browser router. Okay, so that is the thing. So then we have so this is basic. Okay, so your React router DOM starts with here something called browser router. Your entire application, so your app component is your root component, right? First component in your application, right? So we need to wrap your entire application inside this particular browser router. Okay, so browser router, now you know what is a browser router. So it gives us a feature of having routing. So then we have something called route. Okay, so see route. Okay, what I'll do is I'll create 3 components now. Okay, so 3 to 4 components. So what I'm going to achieve here is so this is what I'm going to achieve. So when I click on slash or /home, okay, I'm going to create a component called home. Okay, and I'm going to render that particular component. Okay, same way if I click on /about, okay, so I need to create a component called about. I will be rendering that particular component. Same way, I will have something called posts. Okay, and whenever I click on post, I'm going to have a component called post. Okay, same way, when I click on a particular post, okay, something like if you click on posts, first post, okay, you need to something have like this. Okay, so based on that, so I'm going to create one more component called post. Okay, so we need home, about, post, and post. Okay, so 4 components we are going to create now. Okay, so let's see. So here I'm going to create a home component. Okay, so I will just have a basic component here. Okay, home is going to return a paragraph tag with home. Okay, so welcome to home. Okay, So export default home, simple. Okay. So same way, I'm going to copy the same here. I'm going to create a component called about. Okay. Here I'm going to have about and about, welcome to about, and welcome to about. Okay. So we have created two components. One is home, one is about. Okay. So what else we have? We have something called posts. Okay. So I'll create those components as well. So here I'm going to use something called post.js. So what was the question? So why we use in functional component? We can use class component. That's not an issue. I'm not going to use any states. So I'm going to go into the class component. So if you need, you can use class component as well. So that's not an issue. So this is going to be posts and posts and posts. The same applies to your what else? So whatever the component that we have, one more component called post here, right? I will create one more component called post.js. So here I'm going to copy the same and have it here. So post, post, and post. Okay. So I've created 4 components basically. So post, post, home, about. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just import them here. So import home. Okay. First I will import my home here. Okay. Then my about, post, post. So about, posts, and post. Okay. Just imported those components here. Okay. So here what I'll do is I will just render every component. So here I'll just have home component, then I will have about, then I will have posts, and I will have post here. Okay, we are still not into our React router DOM. We are just displaying all the data. Okay, so now we have not yet displayed anything. So I need to start my application. So if you, for now, I will just have empty. Okay, so we are not we are still in our okay, still in our React. Okay, so we are not yet moved to React router DOM itself. Okay, so I have app component. Okay, inside that I have 4 components: home, about, post, and post. I just rendered them here. Okay, so welcome to home, welcome to about, welcome to post, and welcome to post. Okay, so normal thing, normal your React here. Okay, so now what I'm going to achieve here is when I currently the URL is so localhost 3000. Okay, so whenever I have a URL like slash or home, okay, I need to render home component alone. Okay, same way if I have the URL about, okay, we need to use something called about component. Okay, so those configuration, okay, we are going to right now. So let's see. So that's where your route comes into place. Okay, so here there is one more thing called route. So now if you want to use your routing concepts, you need to have browser routers here. Okay, and I'll comment now. Okay, so here you are going to mention, okay, so route, a normal thing here. Okay, so you can see the documentation here. So route takes these things as properties or the props. So something called location, path, exact, and what other things. Okay, here I'm going to use something called path. Okay, so I'm going to use a path here. So what is the path? So if the URL is slash, okay, so if the URL is slash, I'm going to render this component, something called home. Okay, same way, if I have something like this, I will have into this. So if I have about, I will render my about component. If I have slash post, okay, I will have my post component rendered. So if I have post here, one particular post or whatever, okay, so for now I will have post. I'll have post here. Okay, so basic thing. So now I will remove other things. So previously what we had, we listed all our components inside our application. Now based on the URL, so this is the thing. Okay, so you need to use something called browser router. Then only you can use route inside the particular React router. Okay, so route. So whenever the URL is slash, you are going to render home component. Same way, whenever the URL is /about, okay, you need to render about component. Same applies to your post, okay, same applies to your post as well, okay. So if I go to the browser, so element type is invalid. So what is it showing in the index.js? Check the render method of router.consumer. So what is the error in index.js here? Yeah, router DOM and basic thing here. And what else I'm missing? So home about whenever the URL is /, I'm going to render my path here. Same applies to your, okay. Oh, sorry. Okay. So here we need to use something called render. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll go with the traditional way. Okay. So there is a new method that's been introduced in the latest versions of your React Router DOM. There is a method called render. Okay. So here either you can use render method, okay, or the traditional way. Okay, you can remove this. So this is what we basically followed in the later point of time. Okay. So route, if the URL is /, we'll have our home here. Okay, this way. Okay, if you don't want to use this, there is a function called render. Okay, oh, it's not typing. Okay. So we need to have render here. Okay, and here we need to pass in something like this. So a normal function. Okay, so either way. So what else you can do? So both the things are going to work the same. Okay, I'll follow this syntax. So basically we follow this. So / about, it should be your about component. Same way / posts, it's going to be your post component. Same way / post, it's going to be your post component. Okay, so I'll go with the traditional way. So now it should work. Yeah. So I'm in my welcome to home here. Okay. So same way, if I go to the any other website, any other URL, something like, I'll zoom in. / posts. Okay, I'm getting home and post as well. Okay, same way, if I go to about, okay, home and about as well. So what is happening here? So if it is about, okay, only about component should be rendered, right? Same way, if it is / home component only should be rendered. But by default, home component is being rendered in all part of the area. Okay, so if I go to post, it will render, and this particular URL also will be rendered. Okay, same way, if I go to posts, this also will be rendered and home component is rendered. Okay, so that's how your React router DOM works. Okay, so your route works. So what happens here is, so you have / here, okay, and then the post. Okay, so how it compares your URL is, first it will check for your /, okay, and render your home component. Then again it will take the / and post, okay, and render the post component. Okay, so that is how your React router DOM works. Okay, so if I go to again about component, what will happen? It will first check for /, okay, and render the home component, and that's why home is rendered. Okay, and then we have something called about component here. Okay, and about has been loaded. Okay, so this is how it works. So you might see it as a flaw. Okay, but this is not an error, or this is not a behavior. Okay, so why it has been built in that way is, so if you go to Flipkart, okay, so you have all the list here. Okay, so you will have the list of all the things. If you click on one particular item, okay, or any other e-commerce site, okay, if you click on that particular item, okay, the particular data will be listed here, right? Same way, if I click on a particular item here, the same element is displayed, right? So in that case, this behavior is very advantageous. Okay, first it checks for slash, check for about here. Okay, so you can return multiple routes from this particular area. Okay, so I can even duplicate this. For example, I will come here. So if there is a slash, okay, I can render my about as well. Okay, so something like this. So 2 times about will come. Same way, if I have slash here, you can add some what I can have. So something like this. So you can add in that way also. See, so whatever that you give inside slash, okay. So first it check for slash and check for about. Okay. So if you don't want to use this in this kind of a scenario, okay. So what you need to do is you need to change the hierarchy. Okay. So what is the hierarchy here? So whenever I click on slash about, what should happen? Only this particular about component should be rendered, right? But what happens here? First it checks for slash and then about, right? So move your slash part to the last here. Okay. So now if I render, okay, what will happen? About is loaded, but home is also loaded. Okay, because first about is matched. Okay, then it check for post, no, check for last slash post, no, and there have something called slash here. So matched. So home is rendered and about is been rendered here. Okay. So how to overcome this? For example, I need to have only my about component should be loaded. Okay. So in that case, what you need to do here is, so that's where the next part comes here. We have something called switch. So we have something called switch here. Okay. So before that, we have something called exact. So what is exact here is, so if you mention a particular property calling, so exact is a property. Okay. You can give the property to your route here. Okay. So if you give exact to your route, okay, it will match exactly. Okay, so that's what it means is, for example, if I go here and place exact, okay, what will happen? This route will render only if the URL is slash. It will not check for slash about or whatever. Okay, so if I go here, see now my home component is not rendered because I have mentioned something called exact. Okay, so it should exactly match your slash here. Okay, so that's why your now about component is alone rendered. Okay, same way if I go to home. Okay, same way if I go to slash. Okay, same way if I go to post here. Okay, so post has been rendered automatically. Okay, so that's how your exact works here. Okay, so this is one kind of a way. Okay, so suppose if I have multiple something like this. Okay, so multiple things here and same path and same exact here. I'll have a paragraph tag here and have some content inside it. Okay, so slash, whenever I come to slash, and it will be exactly matched, right? So this will be rendered and home will also be rendered. So I'm going to slash now. So both are rendered. Okay, so suppose if you don't want to have this behavior, so that only one component should be rendered from this particular URL, even if you have multiple URLs with the same name. Okay, only one thing should be rendered. Okay, in that case, okay, so you need to have something called switch. Okay, so there is something called switch. So what is a switch? So basically how switch statement works. So from your switch statement, okay, it will check for one particular case and return only in that particular, it will go to a particular scenario only, right? So that's what switch. Okay, so switch is a component given by your React router DOM. Okay, so you need to place your switch where you need to place your switch. So on the top of your routes. Okay, so because from the routes it should render only one, right? Only one thing from this particular list, right? So now if I go here to my slash, okay, only this is rendered. What is the reason? Because you have two things here with the slash here. Okay, but this is switch statement, right? So you use something called a switch condition or a switch component from your React router DOM. The first thing, whatever matches, okay, that will be rendered here. Okay, suppose if I change the order and have it here, this particular thing will be rendered first. See, okay, so that is the purpose of your exact switch route browser router and much more things. Okay, so basically you need to identify here is you need to have something called path. Okay, so whenever you path is nothing but the URL that you want to mention. Okay, so this is your URL. After that, what is the path should be? So slash about, it's going to be slash about. Okay, so about component will be loaded. Same applies to your post. Same applies to your post here. And what happens in your React here is, okay, so whenever there is a slash matches, okay, suppose if you don't mention here, okay, suppose if I don't mention here, what happens here is, so it will check for slash about, okay, then it will check for slash and render this particular component here, okay. So this happens when you don't have switch. So you have switch here, right? So if you have switch, only one component will be rendered from this particular thing here, right? So the first thing will be rendered automatically about, okay. So this will be ignored, okay. So whenever you use switch, only one route that is matching in this particular list, okay, will be rendered by default, okay. So if you don't want to have switch, you need to have, if you want to have multiple elements, okay, so you need to mention exact, and for example, it should be exactly matching the URL here, okay, then only it should be rendered, okay. So that is the thing. So that is the purpose of your, so if you want to use route and switch and other things, you need to use a component called browser router at the root level, okay. Clear on the basic concepts of your React router DOM. So these are the things: route, exact, and switch. Alrighty. Okay. Thanks for confirming. I could get a great response today. Okay. Explain exact. Sure. So see here now. I'm going to comment the switch statement, and I'm going to remove the exact. Okay. So what will happen here? If I go to about, what will happen? It will check for slash about. About component will be loaded. Okay. And then it will match for slash as well. Okay. So here you mentioned slash. So home component is also rendered. So about and home is also rendered. Okay. So that is how your React router DOM works or behaves. Okay. In order to overcome this, for example, this component should be rendered only when the URL exactly matches with your slash. Okay. So if you want to have that, you can have something called exact here. So if you do this, okay, see, only if they're exactly matching the slash, then only home component will be rendered. So if I go with the about component, this component will not be rendered. Okay, so that is the purpose of it exact. Okay, so now if I don't have exact, okay, so what is the problem here? So it will match your slash about and slash here, right? Okay, so in order to overcome this, if you use switch, what will happen? Switch is going to render only one thing, right, from this particular list of things. Okay, so if I go to slash about, okay, this particular first thing will be matched and render this alone. Okay, it will not go to this path alone, path directly. Okay, it will not go to this route at all, because if you use switch, only one component will be rendered from this route, and first component matches already. Okay, so there is no need to specify exact here. Okay, so that is the thing. So if I do this, it will work as the same. See, about. Okay, clear on the exact part, exact on the switch. All right. Okay, so now let's move on to the next topic. Okay, so we have, so what we are going to basically, what we are going to discuss here is, we are going to basically discuss whatever the topics that are in React router now. Okay, so that is what we are going to do. So we have some topics here, right? So I'll cover some basic topics that are really needed when you start with your application. So I'm going to achieve those things. Okay, so let's see. So I'm going to here. So this is something like, consider this as a formic library. We had a session, right? Same way we are going to have a session for your router now. Okay. So we are deeply understanding what this library has, okay, how it behaves, and how we need to use it in our application. So now the next topic is 404 page and something. Okay. So let's see. So suppose if a user comes to your website, okay, and searches for any random things like, for example, students. Okay, so if I go here, so for example, there is no students route at all in our application. If I go this, okay, see, home component is rendered. What is the reason? Nothing matches. Okay, so the here nothing matches here. Okay, so the last URL has been rendered. Okay, because it matches with slash, right? Okay, so this is not should be the case. Okay, so we need to have a route that is going to catch something called a 404. Okay, so that doesn't match with these particular URLs. Okay, so how to achieve them? So here or here, wherever you want. Okay, so route so route, we have something called star. Okay, so what it means is, whenever no URL matches with your this particular list, okay, there is no slash about slash post and whatever the things, okay. If nothing matches, okay, you need to have the content something like we can have something called 404 page, okay. We can have anything, so 404 page, something like this, okay. So now if I go to some new URL, so something like this, okay. So why your home component is rendered? So it should render this particular concept here, right? So why your home component is rendered? Exactly, exactly. So you need to use something called exact here now. So it depends on the situation where do you want to use the props. Okay. So now see here the random URL. So whatever the URL that you mentioned, it is going to be a format. If I go to a proper URL, it will go to the about. Okay. So if I do some random text, it will go to the 404 page. So this is how a real-time application, web application, whatever the application that you go, so they will have something. They will display something like this page does not exist, and those error things they will display here. Okay. So basically in our case, what we'll have here is we will have a page called we'll have a component called 404 page. Okay. Something called not found page, and we'll have some designs in them. Okay. If you don't want to use them, you can just mention like paragraph tag for now. So this is just a thing, or you can have this particular content into a different component and you can import them here and just place it here. Okay. So that is the thing. So we are now saw what is how to have something called a 404 page. So this particular route here, right? So we call this route as a wildcard route. Okay. So wildcard route. So now here we have saw what is a wildcard route. Wildcard route is nothing but no route matches. So go into the wildcard route. Okay. So suppose, okay, I told you, right? So if I click on slash home, okay, again, home component should be rendered. Same if it is slash, it should be a home component, okay? So basically, if they come to your slash home, you need to redirect to your home page component again, okay? Or you can redirect to your slash directly, okay? So that is where your redirect component comes into place, okay? So there is a component called redirect, okay? So what I'll do is here, if they place something called slash home, okay, I'm going to redirect here, okay. So there will be a property called to, okay. So redirect to slash, simple, okay. So I don't need the exact here, okay. So whenever there is a slash home, okay, I'm going to redirect to the home page itself, okay. So let's see. So this is a random URL. This is only slash, okay. Suppose if I go to slash home, okay, see, it's going to redirect to your home page itself. See, I'm going to type home. It's going to redirect. It's going to the root component. Okay. So that is where your redirect works here. Okay. So the redirect is again a component that has been given by your React router DOM, and you can make use of it whenever there is a necessity. Okay. So that is the thing. So now clear on this. So redirect 404 page and browser routes. Can everyone confirm? Alrighty. Okay. So now what we will do is so now we just mentioned our routing concepts and everything. Okay. So your routings are done. And now what we are going to do here is I'm going to have a navigation bar here. So instead of I'm typing slash home, okay, I'm typing slash about, right? Okay. Instead of that, I will have a nav bar kind of thing. If I click on, if I have home, about, post and things, if I click on that particular post page should be loaded. So basically, in normal HTML, how we can say is something like anchor tag. Okay. So I'll do that. So here on top of it, this is going to be home slash about. It's going to be about posts, and it's going to be posts here. Okay. So I have home, about, and post. Okay. So if I click on about, it's going to be about page, post, home page here. Okay. So basic navigation component here, navigation bar. Okay. But see here, we are using anchor tag here. Okay, see your page now. If I click on post, see your entire page is been refreshed. Okay, if I click on home, entire page is refreshed. If I click on about, see, entire page is refreshed. So this is not the case in your React. Okay, we should never refresh our complete page. So what it happens here is whenever you refresh your page, what will happen? It will render all your components from the initial phase. Okay, so that's not the case. So that is where we have a component called link. Okay, so there is a component called link here. So link. Okay, so what is the purpose of link here is, okay, so we will have them in the place of your anchor tag, we will use something called link. Okay, so let's see. What I'll do is I will just comment out these things. Okay, the same thing I will explain with link now. Okay, so here you have something called href tag here. So we have something called to. Okay, the same, everything is same. So what I'll do is I'll copy this. In the case of anchor, I will have my link tag here. And here as well, here as well, and here as well. In the case of href, we need to have something called to. Okay, so to. So now if I go there, it will look like same. Okay, so it will look like same. But if I click on post, see, your page is not loading at all. Only the URL changes and the component changes. See, not your page is not refreshing completely. Watch it clearly. So if I click on about, only component is loaded. Okay, not your entire page. So what happens here is your React, we have a DOM here, right? So what happens here is if I click on post, okay, it will just render that particular component alone, not the entire page from the scratch. Okay, so if we click on about, okay, only this particular component is rendered. See this particular area. Okay, so same if I click on home, this is only be rendered. Okay, not the entire UI. Okay, suppose if we use anchor tag, okay, what will happen? So I will have anchor tag as well. So this is anchor tag. See, entire page is refreshing. So see here. So post, see, entire page is refreshing. If I click on home here, see, your page is not refreshing at all. Only the component renders. Okay, so that's why you need to use something called link. Okay, so we will basically use link in the place of anchor tag. So we never use anchor tag in your Java, in your React project. Okay, so we never use. So what happens here is it will render the whole page. Instead, we will use a component called link, which is from your React router DOM. Okay, and inside that we will mention those URL. Okay, so whatever that URL, you can even mention your google.com or whatever. Okay, so it is going to render again. So same thing here. So we need to use this is only for your React projects here. Okay, so see now only the component will be rendered, not the entire page. So that is the thing. So that is the purpose of your link and to. Okay, so link and it has a property called to. Clear on this? Okay, so now path is case sensitive. So this one, so all our path will be in our should be case sensitive. Whatever the props that you mentioned, that is case sensitive, right? Because if you use path in a different name, if you use this route is a component again, right? So suppose if you create a component, okay, and in that particular component you might use the something called props.name with n small. Okay, in that case, what you will do? So, but if I send n as a capital letter, it will throw you an error, right? So that's what. So whatever the props that you mentioned, it is case sensitive. So your route component expects path in this way. Okay, that's the thing. So link once again. Link once. Oh, I need to explain them. Okay. So link is nothing but exactly similar to your anchor tag. Okay. So see, exactly similar thing. Okay. So I'll come on this. But what is the difference between them here is, if you click on, if I'm using anchor tag here, if I click on post, see your whole page is, see this area, okay, your whole page will be refreshed. See, whole page. So if I want to show you here, okay, so this is the network call, okay. So if I refresh this page, so I'm getting localhost and the JS and everything here, right? Okay. So if I click on post, okay, see again entire application is loaded. Suppose if I click on home, see again entire application is loaded. Okay, So this is not the case of your React application. You should never use anchor tag here. Okay. So what we need to do is we need to use something called an anchor tag here. Okay. I mean, we need to remove that and we need to use our link. Okay. So now see link how works. Okay. In the initial phase, every component is loaded. If I click on post, okay, see only the fave icon is loaded. Okay. Other than that, nothing is here. I'm clearing it. See here now. Click on home. Okay. See, not the entire UI. Okay. Only the fave icon here has been modified. See, nothing other than that. Okay. But if I use anchor tag, your entire JS, HTML, whatever that you mentioned will be rendered from the scratch. Okay. So which is something like it is not a efficient way. Okay. So we should never do that. In the React, always prefer link and to. Okay. Clear? Okay. Okay. Thanks for confirming. Will home be routed same as home? Let's see. So here I'm going to use /home. Okay. See, same if I click on /post. So basically, okay. So basically, your URLs are something like the routes that you mentioned here in your React or case insensitive. Okay, the links here. Okay, so everything has the same impact. So that is not the case. So here you can mention anything, but in the case of props, you should always follow the documentation that they give. Okay, so that's the thing. So now we are done with our links and other parts here. Okay, so we have the same property called link. Okay, we have something called nav link. Okay, so what is nav link here? So I will link here from my library. Okay, it is going to work as same as your link. Okay, then what is the reason to have link and nav link? Okay, so nav link is basically for styling purpose. Okay, it will exactly work as your link. Okay, but it has some other features. Okay, for styling. Okay, so suppose if I modify links to nav link here, what I'll do is I'll comment, copy this and comment, and I will use nav link here. So in the case of link, I'm going to replace it with nav link here. Other than that, the to property and it works as same. Okay. So if I click on about, it will work as the same, no difference at all. Okay. But what is the purpose of it? Okay. So that is the question. So it has two properties. One is called active style and one is something called active class. Okay. So what I'll do is I told you, right? So this is going to be your styling purpose. Okay. So what we can have here is in my index.js. Okay. So what I'll do is I will create a CSS file. Okay. So something called index.css. Okay. And here I'll have a class called dot active now. Okay. Or I will have dot active. Okay. And color should be something in your green. Okay, so simple. Okay, what I give here is I just mentioned a CSS file. I have given a class name called active and it is going to display color equal to green. Okay, so I am going to import them here as well. So import okay, so now so what happens here is you have a property called active class. Okay, so if you mention active class and mention the particular class name, you mentioned your active here, right? Okay, so you mentioned a class, you just wrote the class here, right? What will happen here is whichever the link is active, it will show it in the green color. Okay, so that is the purpose of your, see, I'm in home page, it is showing green color. Okay, so that is the purpose of your nav, active class. Okay, so this particular property will be available in your nav link. Okay, so I'm going to copy the same here. I'm going to copy the same here. Okay, so now see, I have applied active class, and active class. Okay, so it is going to be active. So whenever the link is active, that particular link will be shown in green color. Okay, so now I'm in slash. Okay, it is going to show in the green color. We click on post. Okay, post is green color and home is also green color. So what is the reason? Exactly. So what we need to use? Any guess? Exactly. So there is a property called exact. Okay. Again, this component also has a property called exact. Okay. So now see your post and nothing is appearing here. Okay. So if you click on home, home. If you click on about, post. Okay. So that is the thing here. So what is the purpose of then active style? Okay. So you can have you can mention active class in this way. Okay. Or you can mention directly the CSS. Okay. So active style, and you can mention your CSS here. So what is the CSS? Our color equal to, for example, if whenever I click on home button, I will have it as something called yellow. Okay, so I'll have it as a yellow now. If you click on home page, see it should be shown in yellow. Okay, so both are same. So you can have a class name that is mentioned in your index.css here, or if you want to have the styling here, you can directly mention the styling. Okay, so this is something called an inline CSS. Okay, so for example, in your paragraph tag, you can add a property called style and mention the CSS in this way. Okay, it will work as expected. Okay, so basic styling. The same applies here. We need to use something called active style property in order to display them in certain color. Okay, so I'll have both the same active class and active style. Okay, clear on this? So what is the thing here throwing here? Active class property on DOM element. Okay, so do I need to use it? Okay, so you can either use this property. Okay, so what happens here is your link thing here, right? So I was mentioning wrong here. You can here your Nav Link attribute here, right? So if you go into the particular code here, what is where is that code? So this is inside your. Okay, I'm not going to confuse you. So this is a library here. I'm not going to confuse you. Okay. So what happens here is Nav links take some property. Okay. So that is not this thing here. What is happening here? So it will show you the documentation. Now it's not showing. I'll type again. So now. Okay, it's not showing the documentation. Okay. So what happens here is your nav link things one is that's what active class and active style. Okay. So what it was throwing some warning. Okay. So basically, so I used it in this way. Okay. So you can use it if you use in this way. This component doesn't have something called active class. Okay. So but it accepts. See here. So there is basically this is something like they should have a validation in their library. Okay. So in your React router DOM. Okay. So that's why your DOM is it's showing a warning. Okay. So here in the case, you can either use active class here or you can use it in this way. Okay. So that is the thing. So you just follow one thing. Okay. You just follow the documentation. Your documentation will have something called active class in this way. Okay. So always follow the documentation. So that's the thing. So now your nav link part is done. Okay. So basically, what is the purpose of nav link? Nav link is to apply CSS to your application. Okay. So that is why we use nav link. Okay. It exactly works as your link. Okay. Only thing is you can have two properties called active style and active class. Using that, you can apply some CSS, but you cannot do it here. Okay. So that is the difference between the both. So now let's move on to the next topic. Okay. So what is the next topic? Match history and location. So this is going to be a larger topic or a big topic. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll close this. I'll come to the home component here. Okay. So I come to the home component and I'm going to have my props printed here. So props, something like this. Okay. So can we use link with the class name and style it? Yeah, you can do. You can do it. That's not an issue. Can't we give a class name? Yeah, you can give. Only thing is the property supported by Nav Link is active style and they already have a class. You can either use this, okay, or if you want to explicitly want want to have new property or new style, you can do that. Okay, so that is not a restriction. So if you don't use Nav Link, what will happen here is what will happen. So you need to check the URL. Or you need to check like, oh, okay, the URL is slash post, and based on slash post, you need to apply your class name based on that. Okay. So instead of doing that, Nav Link already supports those things. Okay. You just create a class, okay, for your Nav active class here and mention them. Okay. Instead of you doing the mappings like whenever slash post or whenever there is slash post dynamically, writing dynamically, you need not do that. Okay. You can go over and use the Nav Link. So that is the thing. So now I just printed my console.log of props here, okay, and my index.js or app.js, okay. Here, whenever I go to the home page, I'm just rendering here, okay. I did not pass any properties here, okay. See, watch it clearly. I did not pass any properties, and where it is, okay, that's what. So I didn't pass any properties, okay. So I'm going to console the properties now. So so obviously that we expected. So no properties that are expected here. Okay, but okay. So there is a concept called route. Okay, about and much more things. Okay, so how to access them? So that is the question here. So import. So I'll use this thing here. And I'm going to import. Yesterday, I told you what is hooks and what is React hooks. Okay, so what is React hooks? Can anyone answer? What is the purpose of React hooks? Okay, providing state. So can anyone answer what is basically a hooks is? So not with respect to React or whatever. So in common, can anyone answer what is a hook in any program? So if you go any programming language, there is a concept called hooks. So what is the purpose of hooks? Any guesses? Okay, I'll tell you. Okay, so whatever the programming language you go, okay, so there is a concept called hooks. So what is the purpose of hooks here is you have an implementation already in your application, already in a programming language. For example, if you take Python, so Python might have been invented or developed, okay, in certain feature, okay, and certain feature is not supported by your Python, okay, so your Python is not supported. So in later point of time, the developers, what they the inventors or whoever, okay, so what will they will release something called hooks, okay. So in that particular hooks, what will they do is, so whatever that is not available in the existing programming language or the feature that are not available, okay, so they will give a short thing that is going to fulfill that particular feature, okay. So in the case of React, what happens? So in a normal class component, no normal class component, we have states, we have life cycle methods, and so on much things, okay. Then later point of time, what they have did here is they have invented React hooks, okay, so that you can make use of your states, props, states, life cycle methods, and much more things, okay. So that is what basically React hooks does this, okay. So, and also React hooks is only for your functional components, okay. You cannot use them. Same way in your React router DOM, so it's a library, right? So they might have created some they might have created a new feature, and then later point of time they might have removed it, okay. So the same way, what they have did here is they have implemented certain hooks, okay, which is something called here use history, use location, use route match, and use params, okay. And use history is going to have your history here, okay. This particular, I will show you the topic. So use location is nothing but location. Use route match is nothing but your match. And use params again, it's a match. I'll show you what happens here. Okay. So first thing is I'm going to use history. Okay. And how to have use history. So basically it's like how we use React hooks. So we'll just call that history and we'll show see right? See here now. So I'll have something called const history and use history. Okay, simple. So I'll print my history object as well. Okay, so I'm going to refresh. See here now, this is my history object. Okay, so what happens here is it will give certain features to you. So basically we'll use something called go back, go forward, and we'll see that. Okay, so basically what we'll have here is we have something called go back. What it means is this: whenever you call history.go back, okay, it will implement this functionality. You have go back button here, right? That will be implemented here. Same way, go forward. So this particular thing you have in your browser, right? Okay, that is the functionality here in your go forward. Okay, and we have something called push and replace and other things. Okay, and other things like location. Okay, so location is nothing but what is the URL that you are currently. So what is your path name? Path name that you have. So slash here, right? So here, whenever there's a slash, you mentioned slash home component, right? So that path names will be available here. Okay, so that is the basic thing of your history object. It just have some go back functionality, forward functionality, and having a new route, redirection, and everything will be handled in your history object. Okay, so let's see the next thing. So we have, that's what your history object does. Okay, and we have something called match. Okay, so in order to take that match, we'll use something called use route match. So these are some routes that are being given by your hooks that are given by your React router DOM. Okay, so I'll have something called match, and I don't need props here. Okay, I'll print the match also here. So now see what match has. So your match has, what is the parameter? So you mentioned is exact and things, right? So it will have here, okay, the URL you are currently and the path, the same that applies here, right? In your location object, you have certain things, right? Same will be available in your route match here. So what is the purpose of your route things here? Okay, so for example, I told you I will give something called posts and /1. First data should be loaded. Same way second, same way for day 3 and 4. Based on the, this is dynamic, right? Okay, based on the ID, we need to know this ID, right? So those things will be inside your params here. Okay, I will show you the sample. For now, take only the theory part. Okay, so this is all about your route match. Okay, so match is nothing but if you want to take some parameters from your route, okay, here you can make use of your params here. Okay, so then what else we have? We have something called location. Okay, so what is the use location? Use location will give the same. You have I mentioned your history object, right? So here I'll show you. So I mentioned here in the history object, we have something called location here, right? So that will be giving, given as a separate property. Okay, so nothing other than that. Okay, so we'll see here const location and use location here. Okay, so I'm going to print my location as well. So I'm going to refresh. See here in my history object, I have a location object, right? Inside that, what I have, hash and key and other things, right? Same will be available in my location object, same copy. Okay, so these are all some they are just they just gave us a utility function or something called what I can say, something called hooks. Okay, so they gave us a separate hooks to plug the property from history. So inside history there is already a location. Okay, so there is inside history object there is a location. If you separately want only the location part, instead of using the history and getting the location, you can directly use location and take the location object. Okay, same way here you have something called match here, right? So we use something called use route match. Inside that, what we have is exact params and path, right? Same way, if we use something called use params, okay, this particular object, right, params, okay, that will only be available in that params. Okay, so we'll see that as well. So use params. Okay, so use params const params equal to use params. And here, if I go to console.log of params, okay, you will see the same copy. See now. So see, this is history. This is match. This is location and param. So location and param. Okay. What is his inside history? So history object is nothing but it is going to handle some navigation, like go back, go forward. It gives some function. Okay. In addition to that, it will give something called a location object. Okay. Inside that, it will just give you the information of your current location, like path name. And here you have something called search here, right? Okay. So if you want to have what is a search here is, in some website you will see these params, something called sort equal to 1 query parameters. So sort equal to 1 and page equal to 3. You will see that those things, right, that will be available inside your location object search here. Okay, see, so using this, okay, you just use your location history of, you can use history object or the use history hook and get the location, and inside that you can get the parameter inside that. See here, you have the parameter here, right? You can get those parameters. Okay, so that is the purpose of your location. Okay, so each and every object has certain feature. Okay, so your history object, what is what feature does it have? So going back to the page, going forward, and modifying the URL and other things, it will be handled by your history object. Okay, same way we have something called match. So what is the match that I showed you? Match is nothing but it is going to have some parameters and path. Okay, so what is the path that you are, what is the current URL and other things will be here. Okay, so that is the thing here. So that is the purpose of your match. So what is the location? Location is an object that is inside your history. Okay, so what is the purpose of location? It has something called your search parameters here, right? So you can have search parameters here, right? So those parameters will be separately available as a here. Okay, so location object. So this particular object is nothing but the location object inside your history. Then what is the parameters? The parameters nothing but we have match object here, right? Inside that we have something called params, right? So that is the if you want to get params alone in the separately, you can use them here. Okay, clear on these things? So these are all some properties that are given by your React router DOM. Okay, clear? History, match, location, params. Can everyone confirm? Okay, so now we saw how we can handle them. Okay, let's see how we will use it. Okay, so see. So what I'll do is here in my post. Okay, I have my post things here, right? What I'll do is I'll go to the JSON placeholder site. Post here. I'll take some copy here. Okay, some like 4 to 5 data, and have it in a variable, something called const posts. No, it's not typing. Okay, so what I'll do is I need only ID and title. Okay, for now. Okay, so I'll remove them. Same way ID and title. Same way ID and title. Same applies here as well. So user ID and title. Okay, so I just have an array called post. It has ID and a title here. Okay, so here in my post component, instead of rendering like welcome to post, okay, so instead of having something like this, I will render all the routes here. I will render all the things here. Okay, so go over here. So inside here, I loop through each and every post here. Okay, so posts dot map. I will get each and every post here, and under that. So basic looping that we saw. So here I will do object structure, get the ID and title alone. Okay. So now here, what I'm going to render here is I'm going to have a paragraph tag. Okay. Inside that, I'll just display title now. Okay, for now. So I need to return. Okay, so all my things are listed here. Okay, so each and every thing here. So I need to use key. So key equal to, I have already ID. Okay. So I'm just listing out all the posts. Okay, and now what I'm trying to achieve here is when I click on each and every post here, okay, I'm going to pass it to the post/1. Okay, something called post/2, post/3. I'm going to achieve those things. Okay, the dynamic parameters. Okay, so what I need to now have here, so when I click on the link, when I want to have the anchor tag, what I need to mention. So in React, whenever we need anchor tag, what we need? Exactly. So we need to use link. So I will take here this thing from here and go to the post. I just need the link part alone. And here I will have it as a link instead of paragraph tag. And okay, I will use the paragraph tag. And here I'll have separate line and display my link. Okay, simple. So when I click on that particular thing, I need to redirect to them. So I need to give 2 now. So what is the 2? Here, I need to use, what is the 2 here? I need to have post slash that particular ID. Okay, so that is the thing. Post slash that particular ID. Okay, so in my app component, okay, I need to take that as a, I need to accept them as a ID here, right? So here, so I'm going to, whenever I click on the particular thing, okay, it should be post/1, right? Okay, now it is listing my post component. Okay, so obviously we know. So see here, I'm going to post. If I click on that particular post, it is going to post/1. If I click on another thing, post/3. I need this URL, right? So with this ID, so that I can make an API called the server and get the data for that particular post alone and get them displayed here, right? So I need these things, right? So how to do that? So first you need to make your route to accept that as a params. Okay. So how to do that here is slash ID. Okay. So if you do this, okay, I can go to the post component here. Okay. And what I need to do is, so what I need to use now, I need the parameters. So you are going to answer. So I told you here. So what I need to use to get this parameter from these properties. Exactly. So we need to use either use params or you can use match. Okay. So you can use either way. I'll show you both the thing. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll use my match first. And what I need, route match. Okay. And const match here, and simple as that. Okay. If I print the console, I'll make a console here. Dot log of match, and see here, I'm getting parameter ID equal to 3. See, if I click on ID 4, it will give me parameter ID 4. Okay, you can directly, now you got the ID here. Okay, so now you can directly get match dot params dot ID. Okay, so welcome to the post. I'll print it here, match dot params dot id. Okay, simple. So see, if I click on 4, 5, 6, okay, so I'm now getting the parameter. So using that, now you can make an API call to the server and get the particular post and display it here, right? So that is the scenario here. Okay, so now I could get the parameters here. So only thing here is how it is inside your id.id here, because you mentioned that this route should accept dynamic parameters, and you mentioned colon id. Okay, whatever the keyword that you give here, that will be available as a param. Suppose if you give post id, okay, you need to use in the form of match dot post id. Okay, so that is the thing. So whatever that you mentioned here, that will be applied as that particular name. Okay, so this is the thing. So this is the major purpose of your match. Okay, suppose you need only the parameters. Okay, you can go out here, use the parameters here, and you can call params here. You don't need your match now, so just go over here. So it will work as expected. See, if you need only the parameters, you don't need your match object completely. You just need your parameters alone. Okay, so params dot post id. So if I'm going to post here, and if I click on this, so id 5 and going to the post 5, you can get the content from the server based on the fifth data and display those content here. Okay, so do you guys have any questions on the parameters part? So parameters part here, so use params and your match. Any questions? Can everyone confirm? So did you guys slept? Can you explain one more time? Sure. Okay, so watch it clearly. I'm going to have dynamic parameters here. Okay, so first I was in post. Okay, so now this is not the case. This is static site. Okay, so if you go into home, about, this is going to be acting as a static site. Okay, but when comes a dynamic page, for example, if you go onto the Amazon site, okay, I'll go to the Amazon site now. I'll show you here. So if I click on a particular item, suppose if I click on this, okay, it has some parameters here. So this is an ID of that particular product. Okay, suppose if I click on this particular product, okay, so any other product, based on that, the product URL changes and the particular data is displayed. Okay, so the same way we need our, for example, if I click on this particular post, okay, I need to display my post 3 data. Okay, here. Same way, if I click on this particular post, I need to display post 5 data. Okay, so you need this. You just sent your IDs directly from your post here. Okay, so here you have link attribute. You just mention the link link component. In the 2, you mention /post/id. Okay, you mentioned that directly already. Okay, so if I click on this, post/3 is redirected. Okay, so that's what you mentioned here. Now you need, what is that ID, right? So for example, it can be 1, it can be 2, it can be 3, right? Based on that ID only, you will be getting data from the server, right? So how to get that ID? So for example, if I click 12, I need this ID 12. Sorry. So I need this ID 12, right? How to get that? So that is where your use params comes into place. Okay. So in my post component, okay, I need to use something called use params from my React router DOM. Okay. And inside that params, okay, I will be getting that post ID here. Okay. How am I getting that? First, in your app component, okay, here /post, and you need to mention a template here. Okay. For example, this is going to be, whenever you mention colon here, okay, so this value is going to be dynamic. For example, post/1, post/2, post/3, and followed by that. Okay, so you need this parameter, right? So that parameter you can get it in your post component, because whenever you click on particular post/12, this component is rendered, right? So you can go to that particular component, and if you need that particular component parameter, you need to use something called use params, and inside that, whatever the name that you mentioned here, that will be available inside your params. Okay, you can print them, or you get using that you can get the data from the server or whatever. Okay, basic thing here is if you want to have this value, if you need this particular value, you need to use params and get that particular value. Okay, clear? Clear on this? At least now, can I get a yes from everyone? Okay, okay, thanks for confirming. So this is all about your use params. Okay, and I mentioned you about already what is the purpose of your history. Okay, so we'll see the history part now. So inside our history, what we'll have basically here inside history, we have some functions. So basically go back and go forward things. Okay, so what is the go back and go forward? It is exactly the same functionality, something like this here, go back, go forward. Okay, I'll explain that now. So what I'll do is I'll have this commented for now, and here in the home page I have a button. Okay, something like go back. Okay, same way, go forward. Okay, so I just had a function. I just mentioned two buttons, go back and go forward. Okay, and on clicking on them, okay, I'm going to use the history object we have here, right? So history dot, I told you, right, we'll have go back and go back things here. So I'll use the go back function. Okay, same way, on click and history dot go forward. Okay, basic simple thing. Okay, so see here I have two buttons. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll come here and see it here now. Okay, so here what is the go back here? If I click on go back, what will happen? It is going to blank URL, right? If I go forward, what will happen? This particular it is going to come this URL right here. So if I click on go back, see the same functionality. Same way go forward. Now it doesn't have any go forward because we haven't gone to the previous page. Okay. So basic thing here you need to understand here is I am in this particular URL. Okay. I'm going to about page. Okay. And here I'm going to back here. Okay, I'm in home button. Okay, so if I click on forward button, what will happen? About, right? So I'm not going to click here. I'm going to click here. See, that's what this particular functionality here. Okay, so go back, go forward is exactly similar to your browsers go back and go forward. Okay, so that is the thing. So what I'll do is I will show you the same scenario in your about component as well. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to my about component, and here I'll have this. And I'll have the same thing here. And I need this. And I need only the history object, right? So I'll remove this. And I need that particular history. Simple. Okay. So in the about page also I have something called go back and go forward. Okay. So see now, I'm going to close this. I'm going to close this. Okay. I'm freshly coming to my localhost 3000. Okay. So now you can see now I am in my home page. Okay, I am going to my about page. Okay, then I am going to my post page. Okay, so home, then I came to about, then I came to post pages now. Okay, so now I am going to give back button. Okay, see this particular back button. Okay, so I given the back button. Now I am in my home about component. Okay, in my about component. Okay, if I click on go forward, what will happen? What if I click on go back? Exactly, because it's just we have about here. Previously you are in home. Okay, if I click on go back, see home page. Okay, from home page, if I go to the go forward, it is going to be a about page. From now, if I go forward, it is going to be post pages. Okay, so that is the thing with your go back and go forward things. Okay, so basic thing. So now these are some functionalities that are being given by your what else? What can I say? Given by your React router DOM. Okay, so there is one more functionality. Okay, so that is needed actually. So what is that particular thing here is I'll do the same here. Okay, here I will have one more button, something called go to posts. Okay, here on click there is something called history dot I forgot that. History dot push. Okay, so history dot push of post here. Okay, so because I'm calling the function, I need to call it in this way. Okay, so whenever I click on the particular button go to post, we have something called post pages here. Okay, so if I go to the about but page here, I have something called go to post. Okay, so now see here, I'm closing this, coming again 3000. Okay, I'm going to my about page here. Okay, if I click on go to post, okay, so basically you have something called link attribute, right? So when you click on post page here, what will happen? It will go to the post page, right? Same way, there is a property called history.push. Okay, whenever you push the whatever the URL that you push, that will be replaced. Suppose if you click on go to post, see post pages mean redirected. Okay, so that is what your history.push is. Okay, so history.push slash post. Okay, whatever that you mentioned, that will be added here. So now if I go to about page and you go forward, it will okay, I came from this particular page, right? So home. So why is go forward not working? So home, about, go back, go forward. Okay, working. Okay, so post here. Okay, so see post page is coming. Okay, suppose if we click on back button and everything will work as expected. Okay, so in order to redirect to a new page, we have something called history.push. Okay, and there is one more thing. So this is the this will be your interview question. So please watch it clearly. Okay, so carefully see here. This is go to post using push. Okay, and this is going to be replace, and we need to use something called a replace function here. Okay, both does the same. Okay, so both your React both will be going to redirect to a different page that you mentioned here. Then what is the difference between them? Okay, we have something called push and we have something called replace. Okay, so now consider your route as a something called a stack now. Okay, so now what is the page I am in my home page. Okay, then on clicking on about, I'm going to about page. So now my queue will have about. Okay, so home, about. So if I click on back button, what will happen? It will go to home page. If I click on forward button, there is not, it will not happen anything. Okay, so go forward doesn't do anything. But if I click on go back, my home component is be loaded. That's what we know. So if I click on go forward here, obviously we know now here. Okay, so now in the, if I click on go to post using push method, okay, so see here, I'm going to use push method here. Okay, if I do this now, my URL or my stack array or my router array will have post here. Okay, now I'm here. If I click on go back, what will happen? Okay, my about page is having here. Suppose if you can go back again, it is going to my home page. Click on go forward, about page. So click on go forward, post page, as you know. Okay, so this is how your push works. Okay, so this is how your push works now. So now let's see what is replace. Okay, so I'm going to close it and coming from the scratch now. So please watch it clearly. This will be your interview question. Okay, so now I'm going to use the replace functionality. Okay, let's see the same. I'm in my home page. Okay, I'm going to click home and I'm going to about page. So now I have about here. Okay, now instead of this, I'm going to use go to post something called replace. Okay, when I click on this, it is going to post page, right? Exactly. but this about here, right? This will be overwritten. It will not add to a new thing here. Okay. Instead, it will overwrite your post here. Okay. So now if I click on go back, what will happen? See? Okay. So that is the difference between your history.push and history.replace. Okay. So there will there will not be anything like about in your history at all now. Okay. So if I click on go forward, what will happen? Okay. Post, as you mentioned. Okay. So that is the difference between your history.push and history.replace. Okay. So there are some in your banking website, basically in your banking sites, we will whenever we develop application for banking, we will use it. Okay. We will not allow them to redirect to any page. Like we should not make them to go back, right? In whenever there is a transaction happening. In that case, we will be using these kind of scenarios. Okay. So in your history, what you learned now? So I'll have it here. So in your history, you learned go back function. Okay. So it is exactly same your go back things. Same way go forward. We learned what is push. Okay. And we learned what is replace. Okay. And there will be for sure question the difference between your push and replace. Okay. If they ask you from your React routers. Okay. So that's all about your history things. Okay. So that is all about your history. Okay. And match I showed you just now. So match is nothing but using the match. We will use something called parameters, or you can directly use parameters. Okay, it's up to you. And location, I already told you. If I go to the home page here, I'll comment out this and comment out this. Okay, so history and location. I just printed my location. So using the location object, we basically what we have here is the search parameters. Okay, the search parameters that we have here. So here, the search parameters here, right? So what is here is, suppose if you want to have some query parameters like sort equal to 1 and page equal to 2, okay? Those values we will be taking it from the search attribute here, okay? Something like location dot search, okay? If you search that particular attribute, it will be available here, okay? So that is the purpose of your location attribute, okay? Clear on the every concept over here? Can I get a S from everyone? Okay, so now I'm going to show you something interesting now. Okay, see, what is the purpose of location attributes? Yeah, that's what I mentioned. If you have some query parameters here, if you want to take them, you need to come to the location attribute and take that particular things here. Okay, these parameters, query parameters. That is the only purpose of your location object. We don't usually use any other things. We usually use this. Okay, so now I'm going to show you something interesting. Here in my app.js, okay, I mentioned you something like this, something like route about, and you need to have about component, okay, or you can either use something called render here, okay, and you can call that particular function and you can render here, okay. But there is one more thing, that is something called, I mentioned your component, right? So I got some error. Do you remember that? I got some error here, right? Okay. So you can use something like this. Okay. You don't need these things. You can even mention in this way. Okay. So what is the purpose of having mention in this way? So any guess? So what happens here is, if you do this, if you do it in this way, and if you go to the about component, it will work as expected, no difference at all. But in your about component here, if you print your props, you will see something shocking. See, your history, location, match, everything will be available as a property by default. You don't need your properties. You need not use your use history. You need not use your any other things like use location and whatever the things. Okay, you can directly get them in your props itself. All your things, props dot history, props dot location, props dot match. Using your history, you can just take go back and go forward everything here. Okay, only thing is you need to mention in this way. So this is what I tried to do it in the first time. Okay, I just had it in this way. Okay, that's why it was an error. I forgot this. Okay, so think here is if you use it in this way, you can every property in your route will be available as a props in that particular component. Okay, about component here. Okay, so in this case, you need not use your use history. You don't need use location. You don't need use params. Okay, but if you want to explicitly take use params, you can use them directly. You don't need the, suppose if you need only the params, you don't need these properties, right? So history or location, you can directly take match, and inside the match you have params. Instead of taking that way, you can directly take your use params and use them in your things here. Also, what I told you, in your functional component only, you can use your hooks, right? So use history, use location, whatever the other things like use params or whatever the things. Okay, so here it's use params. Okay, so whatever the thing, okay, this will be available only in your functional component. Okay, you cannot use it in the class component. Okay, in the case of class component, you should go in this way. Okay, you should mention, always prefer this way. Okay, I just had a different syntax here. See, if you mention the component here, okay, you will take it as a this dot props in your class component. Okay, so that is the thing. So what I'll do is I'll take an example. So if we need, okay, in a home component or what else, okay, okay, I'll take the home component here. Okay, and I convert this to a class component. So import React from React here, class home extends React dot component, and here I cannot use these things. Okay, I need to use render function and a normal component here. So now I need to get the history here, right? So my history object, I need them, right? I cannot use this, okay, because it will throw you an error, because inside function component only you can use those React hooks. Okay, but if I console them here inside your props, oh, I'll comment this first for now. Okay, so if I do this, okay, see, in my this dot props, my history, sorry, my home component. So in my app component here, I need to use home component in that way, right? So component home. So we don't need this syntax. Okay. So if I go here, see, I could get history and location object, something like this. In the case of class component, in the class component, you don't have any option. Okay, you need to use you need to use it. You need to use it in this way. Okay, so always prefer this way. Okay, basically all your props will be coming here as a properties. Okay, all your history object, location, match, everything will be coming in as a property. Okay, suppose if we need history here, okay, we can just do this. Okay, so something like history from your this dot props. Okay, so you can use it in this way, or you can call directly like this dot props dot history. Okay, it's up to you. So now if I do go back, go forward, and everything will work as expected. Okay, suppose if you don't need this, you can just go here and have them placed here. Okay, it's up to you. Just a normal JavaScript. Okay, so in the case of class component, what you need to do is you need to use your components mentioned in this way. Okay, so that every properties like props, whatever the things like history, location, everything will be available there. Okay, so I explained you these ways. Okay, so I explained you different ways now. Okay, so like in a functional component we need to use in this way and other things. Okay, now it's your responsibility to understand the scenario of your component. Okay, for example, in my home component, okay, what is the thing that I need? So I need something called history. Okay, so I am not using any states and other things. Okay, so you can go ahead and use your functional component and use your use history hook. Okay, same way, based on the component, we can directly based on that we can make use of the component, something like this. Okay, if you want to have them in this way, you can have them. Okay, but if you don't, if you do this, okay, you cannot get access to your history or any other object. Okay, but if you do this, okay, you will get the opportunity to have all those three parameters or all those three properties. Okay, so that's the thing. So collectively, do you guys have any questions? Your React router part is completed. Can everyone confirm? Okay, thank you. So that's it for today. And I need to give you the task, right? We'll give you the task now. I have some samples of my previous classes. Yeah, this will be good. Okay, so this is a student from one of my React session. So he's from batch 30 to 21 weekend. Okay, weekend batch. So I gave him this task. He did it in this way. Okay, see what he did. Okay, the same website. So what I told you, when I click on now, we need to have something called home page. So it should have this home. Okay, see, when I come to the root URL, okay, it is going to display the same. If I click on home, it is going to display the same. Okay, so that is the first thing. Now, when I click on about here, okay, so he just mentioned his name, like what is the name he mentioned, and the name, education, what he's currently doing, and other things. Okay, and some new design. So what is the design that he used is React. So React router DOM. I told you, right? We saw the React router DOM just now, and some bootstrap things and React icons. So these are all icons here, right? So those things he used. Okay. So then if you go to the post here, okay, he displayed all the posts. Okay. So this is from your JSON placeholder. We saw that we saw an example, right? So all the posts will be listed here. Okay. When you click on the particular post, okay. So I gave you a task here. So here I gave you a task. What is the task that I give? You need to apply bootstrap design and you need to have forms. Okay. So if I click on add post here, okay. So you have all the list of users, as I mentioned here, the same task here. Okay. But the thing here is in a different URL. Okay. So when I click on add button, see here, add post, see the URL now. So he created a new component that is going to like create post. Okay. In that post, he have a form here. Okay. And you can type anything, and when you click on submit, okay. So he will create those things, and everything will be moved to here. Okay. So at the top, at the bottom, it will be coming here. Okay. So what he displayed here is all your post title and the body. Okay. And the delete option, obviously he just mentioned the modal, whether we need to get a confirmation that can we delete this post or not. Okay. So then when you click on the particular post, like here we have something called eye icon, right? What is the task that I gave you? We need to have a button called get user and get comments, right? Okay. The same task I gave you here. Okay. So if I click on here, he has a post called post/1. Based on that particular ID, okay, he is displaying the data of that particular post. For example, if I go down JS place on holder post/1, okay, it is going to display this particular data, right? So what is the data? User ID, one ID, and other things, right? See, ID, I mean a title, okay, and the body of the post, okay. And then who is the user? User is user ID one, right? Who posted this app, okay? So JSON placeholder user/1. What is the user data? So ID, name, and everything, right? So he mentioned name, username, website, and other things. Okay. So some other things as well. Okay. Then what he had done here is I told you the comments, right? So all the comments. So for example, if I want to get the comments for each and every post, and just give this post comments here, I will get the data. So he listed those comments in this way. Okay. So something looks like a Facebook kind of thing here, right? Like blog post. So title of the post, who did it, and the body of the comment. Okay, basically. Okay. So this is your task now. Okay. The same thing. So if who did this particular task already, it is very easy for you now. Okay. So if you have done this task earlier when I told you, okay, this will be just like you're just going to redirect to a different page and do the same things. Okay. So other than that, everything is same. So in your home button, you can in your home page you can have anything. In your about page, you can have your own information if you need. Okay, and so that I can note them. Okay, so that's what I have noted here. So I'll have all the people who demoed. Okay, so same way, if I click on post, list all the posts. Okay, and when you click on view icon and display all the post information. So this is like sample image. Okay, so here website, what is the basic details, user of the user details. Okay, same way, comments and other things and delete options. Okay, same way, if you want to add a new post, go over here, give some title, give some body, submit. Okay, so once the submit is done, he is just redirecting to a new component. Okay, and the end, see here, new post is added. Okay, so that is the thing. That is the purpose of your, that is the task you have. Okay, so I'll show you some other things as well. We have some simple apps as well. The same, welcome to blog post. This is one another student. Okay, we go on to about, same, he mentioned she mentioned his name here, and post. Okay, so see, she had something called loader. Okay, because it will take some time to get the data from the server, right? So she just used loader and other things like selecting this and title and other things and give add post, and it will be added. See a confirmation message. Okay, if you go on to the bottom, it will be added here. Same if you want to view that, click on that, see post/1, and she just mentioned all in the table format. Okay, so if you click on want to comments, okay, so comments she's just being here. Okay, user info. Okay, so in the user info in the bottom, if you want to show that user info, that user info. Okay, so these are all some sample. Okay, so same way here, and this is just a copy of that. Okay, I missed the URL of. Okay, so same here. So users, get all the user, everything is same. So this is going to be your task. Okay, so see, they mentioned in the top of the table. Okay, so it's up to you how you think this matters here. Okay, you click on another things, like another example is this one. So these are some sample things. So this is what we mentioned. Okay, so this is, I think this is the first task. So up to this section he has completed. Okay, so not the router concept. So these are all some samples. Okay, so please try to do these things. Okay, so that, see, it looks like a full-fledged website now. Okay, because you know routing concepts now, you know how to get data from the server. Okay, you know how to display the data, and you know other some major things as well. Okay, so now you are ready to create all the component, all the necessity things here. Okay, so if you go on to the plan here, okay, so your React routers and up to this, okay, so up to today's class, your basics are done. From tomorrow, it's going to be advanced class. So React advanced. So those are all things like we use it rarely, okay, but this is the fundamentals or the basic or whatever. So until the router concept that I took today, until today, you are now ready to create your own application. Okay, so you don't need these are some advanced add-on topics. Okay, so you may need or may not need, but these things are needed. Okay, so please take it as a serious thing now. Okay, at least today try to start your application. Okay, so that's the key that I want to mention. Okay, and yes, so do you guys have any questions collectively? So I'm going to display the same here. I'm going to say the same task. Do the same task with your routes. Okay. So other than that, it's your presence of mind. So how you display and other things. Okay. So that is the thing. So post, about, and other things. How to create modal. So modal is if you go to the bootstrap documentation, I already gave you. So bootstrap. Where is the bootstrap? That's the bootstrap. Here it is. So components, and here it's going to be modal here. Okay. So modal is nothing but it has something called show hide value. Okay, true, false. If you use true, it will show. If you use false, it will not show. Okay, that is the thing. So see here, show, set, show. The same example I showed you in the lifecycle method, right? Like removing the component, hiding the component. Same applies here. Okay, so set, show, set, show. Okay, so whenever you need that particular model, you need to make it as true. Whenever you don't need to show your model, you need to have it as a false. Okay, that is the basic thing. So that's what they have did here. So whenever you close the model, handle close, you need to make it as false. Whenever if you want to show them, make it as true. Okay, so basic, this is use state. Okay, basic functional component. Other than that, the same your component that you are, so we are going to same, we are just going to copy this and have our contents inside it. Okay, so other than that, everything is same. So only thing you need to understand here is you need to have a state to manage your show and hide. Okay, so whenever, so for example, here if I'm going here, if I click on this, what will happen here is you need to make your model true. Okay, and you need to change the content inside. See here, so that's the thing. Same if we click on here. Okay, I am going to make it as set show to true. Suppose if I click on close, I am going to make it as a false. Okay, same way if I click on here as well, it will going to be false. Okay, so that is how we need to create a model. So model is basically, basic thing here is, this is the basic code. Okay, so if I click on here, see the basic model here, model heading, model body. Okay, and two buttons. See here, model. Okay, and what is the heading here? Model heading. So model heading here. Okay, and same way modal body, something like you are reading this text. Okay, so modal body. Okay, inside your body, and this is footer, right? Inside your modal footer, you need to have something called modal footer and two buttons, close and save changes. Okay, so that's the thing. Whenever you click on close, you are calling handle close function here. Okay, and making your set show to false. What will happen? So your modal will be closed. Okay, so here if I click on close, what will happen here is they are modifying set show to false. Okay, so that's the thing. So basically for your model, there is a property called show. If it has true, it will display. If it has false, it will hide. Okay, so that is the basic thing here. The same implementation I told you on that day, right? So I'll show it here. So the older example. So GUI app here. So in my app component, here I did, right? So state in here I used something called class component. They use state here, so for a functional component. Okay, so same thing. When I click on the set show button here, okay, what I'll do is if it is false, I'm modifying it to true. If it is true, it is modified to false. Okay, but I need here, whenever I need, I want to close it here. Okay, clicking on that particular button only, it should close. Okay, so when I click on that particular button, it should close. Okay, so when I click on that particular button, handle close. So handle close, what it does, set show to false, so it will be hidden. Okay, so understood how to create a model? Can everyone confirm how to create a model? So yesterday also someone asked me the question. Yeah, that's why I explained this. Okay, so that is the thing. So now it's your time. Okay, the React part is completed. I mean, the introduction part is complete. We have only 2 more class pending. Okay, so we will see advanced concepts in React in next 2 class. Okay, so we will rarely use them, but you need to know what happens there. Okay, but the basic part as a web developer, as a basic React web developer, now you should be ready. Okay, so you should know what is the concept happening here and what is the URL and how to make routes, how to get data from the server, how to display, how to apply bootstrap design, and those things like event handling and everything. Okay, now you should be ready, and at least before this week, please show me a demo, something like this. Okay, so I never expect designs. Okay, but you need to apply bootstrap, but I never design need designs. I need to show how you make your code, how you write logics and other things. Okay, so that is the thing that I need. If you have some design ideas, you can implement them. I'm happy about that as well. Okay, but my major focus is on the logic part. Okay, so same application. So I'll just go see here, home page. It should display home, something like you can have something like GUI task, or you can have something like batch and whatever the thing that you want to have here. Okay, And your about, you should have your own information. You can display your photo or your picture, whatever the thing. You can mention your even your resume. You can have it displayed here. Then you can have your post here. You can, what happens here is you can just use this particular website to showcase in your interview. Okay, you can show this in your interview like I have did in this way. And then once we come to the post page here, okay, so see here, this is your post page now. So I told you this is going to have the same data from your JSON placeholder, right? Okay, so then how come test and ASDF is applied? So if we go here, if I go into the post here, by default, it will give only 100 data. Okay. Next time when I insert the data, it will not have 102 and 102, right? Okay. But there is a data here by default. Okay. So what is the reason? How it is working? Because I took Node.js class for them. Okay. So I just told them the same app using Node.js. Okay. So now same like JSON placeholder. Okay. They have a that is running, and that's why they are having the data. So this is coming from basically from a database. Okay. So basically these data are from database. That's why it's listing the data. Okay. Even if you add some more data, it will add it here. Same if you delete the data, it will delete in the database as well. Okay. So that is the thing. So my classes would be like a hierarchy. Okay. So it starts from a basic component, goes into the route, and that's why I start in the starting itself. I mentioned please follow the task, so it will be useful until your Node.js and database part. Okay, so that is the thing. So once you create this app in your React part, okay, so you can showcase it in your interview that I have created a web application, and even this they have deployed to a particular server. Okay, so I will show you those scenarios as well, how to deploy deploy an application to the server and other things as well. Okay, so this is the basic thing. So until this point, okay, so until before this week, if you are ready to have this particular website like home, about, and post page, okay, you are ready for your next session. Okay, so that is the that is the credit that you give me. Okay, so that is the thing.
Hi Tamil, actually I have a doubt. Can I ask you?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, actually I was actually doing the task during applying the hooks, and I actually came across a scenario under which under the actually use effect that actually component did mount, I have placed two functions.
What you had it in that particular function?
Yeah, can I
Sure.
share my screen?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, hi. Under this use effect, I have actually two function, get names and get post. Get names means under that option value all the names I am getting, and get post I am getting all the posts that in the table, that 100 post values. But actually only the second function is executing in the UI.
Okay, what you need to do here is in the use effect, make it as an async.
Sorry?
Async, wait, use it here. Here, the function. The function that is inside your use effect, right there. And have your await in before get names. And same applies into your get post here. Let's see.
Just no, actually it is actually not coming. Only cat post is coming. Cat names is not.
I couldn't see your screen.
Yeah,
We have only the editor.
So, actually I can use here. Just give me this. Here how you can see the screen?
Yeah, I can see.
Yeah, the name is not coming, but all the post is coming. If I actually swap the places.
Can you go to the get names function? So what you have done inside the get names?
Yeah, Yeah. How
And
can
again, I couldn't see the code.
okay. I can actually
Share
share.
your entire screen.
No, there is actually not coming that entire screen options.
There
Yeah,
will be an option for desktop. Select desktop.
desktop is not coming. Yeah, desktop. Okay. Sorry, my bad. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, now you can see.
Yes, I can see that.
Yeah.
So what we have done here, set state and state name equal to data. Okay. So where do you use that name?
Name is I'm
Can
using.
you console that? Can you console the data? Whether the data is coming or not?
Here. Data. Yeah, it is coming. I've seen that. Just.
Okay, then there would be some rendering. They're rendering things. Let's see. There is a zero data.
Yeah, it is 157. This is 40. Yeah, 157. This is I have actually placed a rendering means here I have placed a console statement. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Here the all the names and here all the data.
Okay, so you're getting data then. Okay, so then what is this? Let's see. Go to the code and can you come down? No, can you come down? So where you loop the things, loop the options.
Okay, options. Yeah.
Okay, so select constant state dot name dot map and then option key name dot id name dot name. Okay.
Yeah, actually the function is correct. If I actually swap the actual sequence of the function, is option is working, but the table data is not coming.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so okay, so what you need to do is go to the use effect at the top of the thing where you
Where yeah.
okay. So in the get names, you are applying the things here. Okay, so what happens here is you have your get names, right? So once the get names is completed, I mean, once the get name is completed, you are doing the get post. Okay. So
Yeah.
first return render function is done. That means your UI is rendered. Then the next time, okay, so it will be refreshed and your names is again calling. So that is what happening here. So try to use two use effect. Let's see.
Sorry.
Try to
Yeah,
use one.
I have actually also on that only, but
Or get the names first and then post, okay, and then update the state at one shot.
yeah, like this only.
No, in a get post, go to the get post there.
Okay.
Here, instead of modifying the state, okay, you just return the data. Instead of set state, just return the data.
Okay, yeah.
Then update your state at one shot.
Sorry.
Always remove set state multiple times. Okay, so you should use set state only once or once. Okay, so here after the another you are using set state, right? So it is not updating the state. So basically what you do here is in your get post, okay, you just return this data.
Okay.
Instead of set state, you return the data. Okay, then do the same and get names. Data. Okay. Yeah. So go to the use effect now. So So here, store your get post data. You are getting some data, right? Store it in a variable, something called post. This is names or post. This is post.
Sorry.
This is
Okay.
post.
Okay. Sorry.
Do the same for get names. And now modify your set state here after the next line. And apply those posts and names here. So both keys or values are same. You can mention one thing alone.
Okay. Yeah.
So I think you don't have names as a state.
I think name is there.
Yeah. So name and then names. Just modify the variable there. Okay.
I have.
So try now. Let's see.
Okay. I have just swapped that.
Yes.
Here also on reachable code. Line
Leave the warnings. Go to the
49 is there.
you don't need
Data.
you return the data.
Okay.
So now go there. Let's see.
Yeah. Now it is coming.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, please avoid using multiple set states. Okay.
Okay.
Set state is asynchronous, so you want before having this particular thing is updated, another thing will be updated. That's why.
Okay. Thank you, Tanvi.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, let me share my screen. And yes, so that's it for today. And your basic part and everything is done. So we will be having our advanced concepts tomorrow. So can you send the file which you sent yesterday? Sure, I will share you. I'll share you these things first. And here in your everyone. Notice the extra space. Okay, so here. And then I need to share my properties, this file. So you need to send the particular archive. Desktop, source, archive. So this is yesterday's code. And today's code is, I'll share you everything here. Okay, I'll share the source. So this is today's code. And yes, that's it for today. And so see, he asked the question, right? So whenever you start typing in your code, then only you will get some errors. Okay, then only you will understand multiple concepts. So I just go with just the positive things. Okay, so I'm just showing you the syntax, and it will work for me because I am coding it for so much time. Okay, so but when you start writing your own code, then only you will get to understand what is happening here and what will be the error when you start coding it from the scratch. Okay, so please do that, and at least from today. Okay, so before this week, please have a application ready. Okay, so that you can showcase your things in your interview. Okay, so the same application I will be continuing in the backend as well. So now we used JSON placeholder, right? Instead of that, we will create our own server and they get the data from the database. Okay, so it will be a continuation. So once you get that, then only you will get to know there should be a continuation in all your tasks. Okay, so that's why. Okay, so that's the thing. So yeah, useful extensions in VS. Oh no, I forgot that again. Okay, so in the view here, okay, if you go here, you'll have something called extensions here. Okay, so if you go here, I usually use a library called Prettier. So this is the library that I use. So if you click on that, see. So if you go to the Prettier code, just search in something called Prettier, okay, and there will be install button here, okay. You can click on that and it will be installed, okay. So this is to align your CSS. So whenever I type in, it is save. Whenever I click on save button, it is aligning automatically, right? So that is the thing that I use here. This is the extension. Okay. And one another is I use something called React. So this is the library that I use. Simple React snippets. Okay. So whenever I type in, see here. So whenever I type in, the React statements comes in, right? So I use this library called Simple React snippets. Okay. I follow these two things for my React application. So there are multiple things. You can try out other things as well, but I use these extension in my VS Code. Okay. So in the view here, go to the extension section. Here there will be a search bar here. Okay. So you can search. First thing is React snippets. Okay. The first thing, the simple React snippets. Okay. This is the library. I will share you the name, or I can share it here. Here. Okay. So then you need to use something called Prettier. So Prettier code formatter, and if I click on that, and here to use this. Okay. So then, okay. So this is the two libraries that I use. Okay. But okay, someone mentioned I have installed Prettier, but it is not aligning after save. Okay. So there is the setting that you need to make whenever you use Prettier code formatter. Okay. So I think it's going to be auto. It's not typing. So I forgot that. Just give me a minute. This is not the case. Explorer. No. No. Auto save. So here it would be auto save. What is where is that? Auto save. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so whenever you install your Prettier JS here, okay. So someone asked me a question. Okay, I have installed Prettier format. So I shared you two things, right? One is this is the library. Okay, so here, so this particular library needs some things to be done. Okay, whenever you save, it should be formatted, right, by default. Okay, so what you need to go here is, okay, so you go into the preferences, okay, on your code here, and go to the settings section. Okay, so here you can find, there will be a search bar at the top of the thing here. Okay, settings. Okay, go to the, just type in save. Okay, so there will be, see here, format on save. There is an option. If you enable this, it will format automatically when you save. I mean, like, if you enable this, it will save. If you don't do this, it will not save. Okay, it will not format for you. Okay, so this is a setting you need to enable. Okay, so please have that in that mind. Okay, so setting preferences. Okay, settings. Go here. This particular window will be open. Just check for save here. Okay, and there will be an option called, or you can search format on save. Okay, so that particular format, I will share you this. So in your chat, settings, and there will be format and save. Okay, and enable that, and this will enable your auto formatting features. Okay, so that's the thing. And yes, if you don't have anything, you can wind up for today's session. Yeah. Thank you guys, and see you tomorrow. And your basics are done. Please try out your things and don't forget your task. Okay. So I did pricing task I used to